Hi guys, Etsu here, and this will be my in-depth Shadow PvP guide for Midnight Season 1. As it is, in my opinion, Shadow is looking very solid, like actually very strong, even though the meta is quite burst heavy right now, like with Marksmanship Hunter and Windwalker Monk and Saboteur Rogue and Red Paladin. Like a lot of specs are kinda overperforming in terms of damage, but still, in my opinion, Shadow's looking very good. So as per usual, I wanna start with talents first. So I wanna go kind of deep into the talent tree. I'm talking about like why I pick what I pick, starting with like the class tree, then talking about the hero tree talents, and then again the spec tree as well, and epic talents. So yeah, let's just get started. So before we will start here, I just wanna say I will not go too deep. Like I will not talk about like every single talent choice. Because it would be another 1.5 hour video. So I just want to pick some talents that in my opinion are very important to talk about, and yeah, but feel free to ask any questions anytime. So I'm gonna start with your favor. Like the reason why I don't pick it is because there's a talent which is called Body and Soul, which like does the same thing. So it's the same amount of movement speed, 40%, and you're doing so with casting your shield. So you're getting a shield and the movement speed, and yeah, casting your favor only gives you movement speed. Sure, you could say like this can be good for teammates and battlegrounds and so on. It can be, yes. I mean, in battlegrounds, if you play on certain maps, it can be decent, yes, because the uptime here is way higher, since your shield will only like give you a 3-second boost, while the favor is way longer. And you have more favor, so this is why the uptime here is way higher. But overall, like since you are a Shadow Priest and you're getting trained all day long in the arena, for example, you will not benefit from your favors at all. Like having with one global cooldown, getting a shield and a movement speed boost is so much better. So always go for Body and Soul. Dispel Magic. This is a talent I kinda always go for. Since you can always benefit from it. Like even though you only dispel, let's say, a int buff from mage, so like having the int buff or not having it is a decent difference. And most of the time, the enemies don't really notice that their buffs are gone, and they don't rebuff, and they're just losing damage, or they're just losing the druid buff, for example. So it is quite nice to have it. Very handy. When it comes to your fear, you have some choice notes you can pick from. The first one here is between Sheer Terror and Petrifying Scream. I would say most of the time you go for Sheer Terror, since yeah, it lasts just longer before it will break. And this one here can be good in certain scenarios, could be good in some battlegrounds. This one is better in Silvershot mines, for example. But it depends, it always depends. It depends on the scenario. But most of the time I think this one is locked in. And here kind of the same, like the left side talent is just locked in here. Like having less cooldown is very strong. But again, like if you face 2 melees in an arena, for example, I would say this is better. Like it can prevent like 2 seconds of damage sometimes. Especially against warriors or rogues, but it depends. Again, it always depends what your setup is, and sometimes if you face double melee in a shuffle round, for example, I just go for white hand rolls. What else do I want to talk about here? MD. This is a very strong cooldown, and this is the reason why it has 2 minutes cooldown, because you can just remove Ice Block or Bubble of a Paladin, which is massive, but you can also get your healer out of CC. And also in battlegrounds, if you cast it, let's say in a team fight, and you just cast it on, let's say, 5 enemies, they are losing buffs, like health buffs, damage buffs, whatever. So it's always good to cast it and hold it in cooldown. And yeah, if you face a mage or a paladin, go for it anyways. Moving on, Shadow at Death is so weak right now. I'm not sure why or when to press it. Like even your Mind Blast is dealing more damage than your Shadow at Death, so I'm not sure what is going on and why it is so weak, or maybe I'm doing something wrong. The only time I actually press my Shadow of Death is if I can like cast it on a shield due to Devour Matter, but outside of this I don't press this button at all. It's so weak, and you are getting the same amount of damage yourself, so nope, it's so bad. But you kind of have to pick it in order to move on here, to get to Twisted Fate, a Twist of Fate, because picking Binding Heals is, yeah, not too great, right? Maybe I should mention mind control as well. This is something that can be super useful, especially like in certain battleground maps. But when it comes to arena, I would say it's always better to just run and hide behind a pillar, for example, to avoid damage. Since mind control, yeah, you are getting interrupted, like you're getting CC'd all day long casting the spell, so you won't really benefit from it in the arena. Yeah, don't go for it in the arena, I would say. But in battlegrounds, this can be super fun and very strong. Moving on, I think the bottom side here is pretty locked in. There's only like one flex talent, which is your Phantom Reach. If you face, let's say, double melee, you don't need the extra range, and you will go out of a range and go for Phantasm, since it's way better, especially against melees again. Having like the snare removal every 20 seconds is awesome. But outside of this, I think this is very locked in. So nothing too fancy when it comes to the class tree. When it comes to the hero tree talents, I think Void Weaver is just the way to go. And like personally, I just enjoy this one way more. Arcane can be good. It can be burstier. Yes, it can be. But in my opinion, it's so awful. Like, you already have to cast your Void Form. It has a cast time. Like, I hate it. I really hate it, like the cast time. But the Void Form itself is amazing. But like, you would have to cast your Void Form, and you would have to cast your Halo as well. And this is so awful in PvP. I hate it. So this is why I prefer Void Weaver all day. And again, the theme is awesome. I mean, I also like the Arcane theme, like light and darkness, the mixture. I really like it, but I mean, again, it can be super burst, like especially a single target burst. It can be very strong, but I just don't like it. That's it. I just really don't enjoy it, to be honest. I'm not sure if it could be better. I don't think so. I would say Void Weaver is just the way to go. It's you have a 30-second go, and the go is quite decent. So this is, in my opinion, so much better. And you don't have to cast it. It's instant. Even though you're getting kicked on your Void Torrent, it's still high value. And getting kicked here on your Halo, it feels so bad. You have to wait. You just can't stand still and heal. And yeah, it's feeling so bad. And the enemy always knows, okay, damage is coming. Because you have to cast it. You have to precast it. And this is... I don't like it at all. So, yeah. About the choice notes here, I think they are pretty locked in. There's nothing to explain here. Maybe here you could go for Darkening Horizon instead of Void Empowerment, but I would say this is just always better. Having a little bit more duration, yes, it's nice, but having the instant cast is like, while you're in your burst, having a instant cast Mind Blast is strong. It hits for, I would say, I think 50k non-crit right now, which is quite nice. And lastly, you have a choice note here between Embrace the Shadow and Void Leech. Void Leech can be super good in the arena, I would say. It's super nice. But in Battlegrounds, overall, I mean, this could be nice as well. If you are the target, go for it. But otherwise, if you are able to like stay on safe range and you're not getting targeted, and yeah, in Battlegrounds I would say this is the case most of the time. But otherwise, go for Void Leech. It's very decent healing. Moving on to the Spec tree, and yeah, I mean here it is getting fun. So I went for a very dot heavy build, like very high consistent damage. So I took like kind of all the passive nodes, increasing my passive damage with dots and with apparitions, for example. And it just works very well with the Void Weaver build, since it gives you even more dot damage. Like having 20% more damage on your Vampiric Touch and your Shadowed Pain is so good. And here again, Quickened Pulse also increases your Shadowed Pain damage. So yeah, going into like very high consistent damage is kind of strong as a Void Weaver, especially. And the main reason what makes like the dot build possible right now is this new talent here, which is called Invoke Nightmare. This talent here, it just increases your Shadowed Pain damage by 150% damage, and it's so good and it's super fun. Most of the time, like what I do in Battlegrounds especially, I just tap, like I tap target, like I tap and change my target and just press my Shadowed Pain. I try to Shadowed Pain a lot of people like as much as I can, and then in the end I just press my Tentacle Slam, and you will see numbers rising, since if you cast Tentacle Slam, you are applying Shadowed Pain and Vampiric Touch already, baseline, and you also apply a very weak version of your Shadowed Madness as well. Like you apply all your 3 dots by just pressing your instant Tentacle Slam. And if you have all 3 dots on a target, it activates this talent here, called Screams of the Void. So this is the whole bread and butter of the build. You just try to multi-dot as much as you can, like especially with your Shadowed Pain. Like this is your main dot. You want to spread it as much as possible, and then either you use your Spender, Shadowed Madness, or you again use your Tentacle Slam, which only has 15 seconds cooldown, and you just get all 3 dots on a target. And once you have 3 dots on a target, you activate this Screams of the Void talent, and this is your bread and butter. Like this is how you deal damage and where all your damage is coming from. And keep in mind, like this is only a 3-second buff, so every time you cast your Shadowed Madness, don't spam it. Like if you have very high insanity, don't spam it. It depends on the window. Sometimes you want to spam it, sometimes you want to spam it, but most of the time just try to keep this buff here up as much as possible, since again, like this is where your damage actually comes from. And like it doesn't matter if it's AoE or single target, like even in single target, this is one of your biggest damage sources with a build here. And it's so much fun. It's so good. So they actually nerfed Cycle Link pretty hard right now. So if I go for Battlegrounds, I will still pick this talent and just go out of Spectral Horrors. So you don't really need the apparition damage, since it's quite weak as well right now. I'm not sure why. Maybe they nerfed it pretty hard. But if I go, like if I look at my single target damage, if I, let's say, I don't know, what the last time I tested it was like a 5-minute fight, and the apparition damage was so weak. Yes, but Cycling, I mean, it's nerfed so hard. Not sure if you ever pick it, like even in Battlegrounds, since again all your AoE damage comes from Screams of the Void and your Shadowed Pain itself. It doesn't come from Cycling. Yeah. But again, since your Spender hits quite hard, and your buff Mind Blast is hitting hard as well, so it, I mean, it's a little bit more damage. A little bit. Not too much, but a little bit. So again, like because you don't really need this one, it's a way bigger damage gain going for Cycling instead of your Spectral Horrors. So this is the only thing I change if I go for AoE. And when it comes to Arena, I go for Spectral Horrors instead of Cycling, but otherwise the whole build is very locked in. So again, like all you care about is just try to spread your Shadowed Pain, or at least keep it up. And in the Arena, if you only have one target, it's even easier, since you have so much instant cast right now, and since your Tentacle Slam has such a low cooldown and 2 charges, I would say you have 100% uptime on all 3 buffs due to the low cooldown on Tentacle Slam. And this is what is making the build so strong. Yeah, it all works very well with Screams of the Void. So man, this is your biggest damage source again. Keep in mind, just play around this buff. Maybe you should track it as well. I don't track it, I just have it in my mind, in my blood right now, because I just play around with talents for so long now. But maybe it's good to track it somehow. Another talent I want to mention is Insidious Ire. So I play with Void Form now. I haven't played it before, but since they buffed it by 10%, it's worth like speccing into it right now. I would say. I mean, you could still argue the following. I mean, in the arena, you're really looking for on-demand damage, right? And you have to cast your burst, so it's very likely you're getting interrupted on it. So if you're getting kicked on it, like, you can not deal damage for 3 seconds or 4, depending who kicks you, but you are losing 4 seconds of damage. Sometimes, or even more. Like, you're getting kicked and again, after 3 seconds, you're getting just stunned, you're getting whatever. So sometimes it's not possible for you to get out of your Void Form, and you're losing so much damage. Sometimes it's better to not pick Void Form, to be honest. Like, if I face 2 meaties, I'm not sure if I pick it, honestly. Like, if I face a warrior and a rogue, for example, I will not pick Void Form, I think. It's just too crazy. Yeah. You will never get this get this off, or you kind of have to waste your fade in order to do so sometimes. And I don't. Yeah, it's a very interesting relationship I have with Void Form. I kind of like it now, since it gives you access to Void Volley, which I wanted to mention here, since you're getting a very significant buff to your Void Volley damage, and you cast it actually 3 times. You cast it 1 time once your Void Form begins. Like, if you finish the cast, you already cast your Void Valley, which is amazing. Then you cast it. Then you can cast it like once the Void Form is up. You have a certain window you can use it, and after your Void Form ends, you can cast it again. Like, so you can cast it 3 times, and it deals around 200k damage overall. And this is very significant. And one of the reasons why it deals so much damage is because of Crushing Void with talent here. It increases like the damage of Void Volley by 15%, which is nice. And again, you can cast it 1 more time due to the talent here. And your Insidious Ire increases your damage, your Void Volley damage, by another 25%. And Void Torrent damage as well. Like, this is how your burst actually works. So you have very high passive damage due to Scream of the Void, right? Like, you are going for all the passive damage you can get here. And when it comes to burst, your burst is super high as well. Due to, again, like, you get 10% more damage baseline. I spec even into like 15% more damage, so you get 15% more damage, and if you cast it, you're getting like 60 insanity, and this is a big part. So you can instantly blast. You can kind of spam your Shadow Word Madness as well to have a very high ticking dot as well. Man, it's awesome. It's so much fun, and it's super strong. Your burst window is super nice, and Insidious Ire makes it possible to hit pretty hard, even though like with your Mind Blast, you're getting a 25% more damage on your Mind Blast, and it also like your Void Blast benefits from this buff here as well. So this can be hitting around, what have I seen, like 80k crits or even more. So this can hit super hard. Yeah, I mean, this is the whole build. So I don't want to explain like every single talent and what it does. I just want to say like I just went for all the passive damage I can get. And again, like the whole game plan is spread your dots, keep them up through your Void Tendril, your Tentacle Slam, sorry, and yes, just play around Screams of the Void, and this is how you deal damage as a Shadow Priest. And especially in Battlegrounds, if you're able to spread your Shadow Pain and keep up your 3 dots on a target, man, you will deal so much damage. You could go for different builds as well, but I think going for pets is very awkward. The pet isn't dealing that much damage, and Shadow Death is so weak right now, so there's no reason to go for it. It only works with the pet tree as well, so it just makes sense to do so. Madness Weaving could be very nice, but it's just locked behind all those talents here. I would love to go for Mastermind as well, but it only increases your Mind Blast damage and your Mind Fly damage, so nothing too major. I mean, sure, with it you could crit for 100k, I guess. So it's nice, but yeah, don't know. I prefer like the whole overall passive damage pressure. So yeah, this is the build, and please give it a try. You will love it. Moving on to stats. And as a Shadow Priest, you kind of only need haste. You want to get as much haste as possible, and the second best stat would be versatility, since it increases your self heal, and you self heal a lot. It increases your damage, and you also get less damage. So this is your second best stat, maybe even better than haste, to be honest. Like I will go mainly for versatility, then haste, then crit, and crit. Like you have a lot of damage modifier for crit. So for example here, like all your dots have 40% more crit damage, which is so good. The same goes for your apparitions. Where is it? Here is it. And you could go again for Mastermind as well, but I don't think it's worth it right now. And it's hard to drop something to get it, so yeah, don't go for Mastermind yet. Maybe, it depends. Since apparitions are super weak right now, I don't know if I just spec out of my apparitions or go into Mastermind. But yeah, stat wise, why you wanna have crit? I myself, I will go for 15% crit. Like I'll do this for every spec because I really enjoy having a little bit of crit. It can make or break a game. So especially on Shadow, crit is very valuable. Again, offensive wise, yes, but also defensive wise, since your shield can crit. So you can have up to like in PvE it's a 28k shield then, in PvP it's nerfed, yes, but still, like critting a heal is always very good. And if you crit with your flash heal again, you are getting another damage wall again, and this is so strong. I really enjoy having a little bit of crit, since again you don't only benefit from it offensively, also defensively. So having at least 15% crit is what I will do, the rest in verse and haste, and this will be my season 1 stats for Shadow. When it comes to embellishments, I would say go for the prism, the jewel crafting one. You can do it both on your rings. This is a very good one for Shadow. I don't have it yet myself. I will go for it today or tomorrow. And enchantment wise, I would go for the following. Like head, you can go for the leech one. I would go for head leech, for shoulder leech, and for, I think it was feet leech. So you can have 3 enchantments with leech. You can choose between basically speed or leech, and you go for leech. you benefit from leech way more compared to this speed. Even though you are super slow, but again, you can't really escape anyway, so just stand still and cast. Just do it. You go for precog, so you can fake cast sometimes your heal or your damage, and yeah, precog is just awesome game wise. And the other games just go for haste versatility all day. Enchantments, your chest gives you 50 intellect, go for it. My weapon, like the weapon enchantment, I'm thinking about going for the mastery one, to be honest, like to have just more single target damage. But you also could go for the versatility one. I wouldn't go for haste since you are stacking haste all day. Like having a little haste proc won't make a huge difference. I would say go for mastery maybe, or go for versatility on the weapon enchantment. And rings, go for verse. I will go for verse, versatility, maybe haste, but I think I will go for versatility on my rings. And yeah, legs, you only go for one enchantment here. For you're getting a little bit more health and int, which is nice, and that's basically it. I think there are no over enchants. If I miss one here, please feel free to share it. But I think that's it about embellishments and stats and so on. And lastly, I want to go into like how you actually burst and maybe some tips and tricks. So how I open burst, like I have nothing in it. I have no sanity. So how I actually open is I just, again, if I have multiple targets, I will spread my Shadow Pain. But if I go for a single target, for example, here, I just press Shadow Pain, cast my Tentacle Slam twice, so I use both charges, cast my Void Form, cast my Void Torrent, as long as my my Shadow Madness is up. You end up with so much insanity, and you don't want to overclaim, so you always press after you press your Void Torrent, you always press Shadow Madness once. Then you go for your instant proc, your Mind Blast instant proc. Then I go for my Ward Volley. Then I go for my Shadow Madness again, and cast my Mind Blast again. So this is the whole opener I do. And afterwards I just try to keep up my dots, and once your Void Form ends, you can just cast your Void Volley again. But always cast Void Volley only if you have all 3 dots up. Never cast it if it's if you don't have the 3 dots up. This is the only rule you have. And this goes for everything. You only cast your Mind Blast if you have 3 dots. You only cast your Void Torrent if you have 3 dots. Like, this is the main goal here. You always want to have 3 dots, so you always precast your slam before you go for any other damage. Now I cast my Mind Blast 35k. If I go for Mind Blast here, it's a 40 crit, so it's half of the damage I did here. So let's talk about macros really quick, since you only use maybe 1 or 2 macros, so nothing special here. So the only focus macro you kind of need is your silence macro. This is your kick, your interrupt. And how I do it is, if I press my Q button on my target, I will always silence my target. And if I hold my Alt key on the keyboard and press my Q button, I will silence my focus target without like having it as a actual target. So I can set this one in focus. So this is the skull target, and here is my let's say my mage. I just want to kill, and I want to see the healer. So I can again, like this is my target, right? This is my target dummy, my mage, and I go for Alt. No, I press Alt and Q, and will silence my healer without having him as a target, only as a focus target. So I can just keep pumping here, and just to see on the side note, you could do so with your grip as well. For example, like you could just type in, instead of your target is, equals focus, you could type in like target equals healer, like arena target 1 or 3 or whatever. Like you can just decide, or even like if you play with a player, you can just type in the player's name here instead of focus, and you will just grip him always without needing to target him. You could also do the same for your heal, for your flash heal, to heal your teammates without targeting them. This could be very beneficial. Maybe you could even go for the Dispel one. Focus Dispel on the enemy healer sometimes can be good. I will write some more macros, but as it is, I actually honestly don't only use my silence macro. Yeah, nothing else to mention here. So Shadow is quite easy. You, again, like the only thing you want to do is press your Shadow Pain, keep it up, since it has a very low cooldown, since it has very low uptime. By the way, the uptime increases due to haunting shadows, which is nice. So every time you cast a apparition, it increases the duration of your dots, which is nice. So this is how you keep up your dots. And by the way, if you cast your Tentacle Slam, you always release one apparition anyways for free. Yeah, so all you do is you cast Shadow Pain, cast your Tentacle Slam, and then you go for, oh, maybe this one could be important. Mind Flay generates more Insanity, but your Mind Blast deals more damage. So if you have enough Insanity, always go for Mind Blast. But if you need it, like if you just went out of your burst and just pumped everything in, and you just want to have Insanity back, go for your Mind Flay. And there's also another benefit from casting Mind Flay, since your Idol of Satoon can summon a Mind Flay, a Void Tendril. A Void Tendril, if you cast Mind Flay. So this is nice. This is nice to know. But like if you need on-demand damage, right now, Mind Blast is just stronger. So that's basically it. Like the spec is super easy to play. Maybe some defensive tips I have here is, again, like if you're getting kicked, like don't try to kite as much. Like don't try to run if you have no instant cast available. Like try to run as long as you can cast something efficient. So if you are out of Insanity and you just walk away while getting trained, don't do this. Just stand still, let the enemy hit your face and start casting either your flash heal if you're getting kicked, or start like damaging. Don't care about, like you can try to fake cast sometimes, like especially it's very strong with your Mind Flay. You can just fake it here very easily. You can just start casting for 1 second or for 1 millisecond and stop casting. So you can just try to go for the precog proc. But yeah, otherwise it's very straightforward with Spec. I use my Fate sometimes on cooldown. There's always something to dodge. So by the way, like with Fate you can dodge everything for 1 second. You can even dodge a Chaos Ball. I dodged Mortal Coils oftentimes. So you can use the spell if you like see a, let's say a warrior. If you know he's casting Mortal Strike in the next moment, you can just avoid it. Like it depends. Like you need some spec knowledge. Always try to, I mean, let's say a Red Paladin, because this is a very easy one. Red Paladin, he always needs to generate in order to spend. Like, and if you see he's casting Judgment, you know the next cast will be Verdict, and you can dodge it. So you need some class knowledge in order to be very, very high efficient with your Fade, but always it's better to hold it in cooldown instead of just waiting for the right moment. So I think overall, just try to hold it in cooldown, but try to have it ready if the enemy has its burst up. So this is the only thing I can recommend here or advise. So and if you're getting like, if you are playing against a RMP, for example, and your healer has no cooldowns anymore, always go for Desperate Prayer first before you go for Dispersion, since it will heal you more. You having more max health, you benefit from more healing from your Dispersion. So, I mean, but you don't want to press both cooldowns at once. Sometimes it depends on the situation, and but again, like, if 3 people are instantly charging you and like bursting you in Battlegrounds, for example, you can like always try to cast Desperate Prayer first, and it also lasts for 10 seconds, so you have time before you cast your Dispersion. So always try to use this one before you use your Dispersion. And also don't forget about your Vampiric Embrace, since the healing out of this spell is very decent, especially in your burst. The healing is very significant. Yes. What else can I say? Honestly, I think that's it. Again, maybe try to purge as much as possible sometimes, especially while you're getting trained, or if your burst ends, and I mean, sure, you can just try to keep on doing damage, but sometimes it's better to get rid of a proc. For example, if I play against a Fire Mage and he's opening on me, I kinda spam. So if I don't have Silence up and if I don't have a pillar to hide, I kinda spam my Dispel, so I can just remove his procs, for example. I'm not sure if this is possible any longer, like, I'm not sure, but this is what I used to do. So you can just spam your Dispel sometimes to prevent so much damage, or sometimes it's, yeah, let's say a Discipline Priest, like the shield, sometimes it's a 80k shield or even more, like a 150k shield, and just pressing one Dispel kinda equals like dealing 150k damage, right? Because otherwise you would just hit into the shield, but if you remove it, you do so much more with one global cooldown here. Just removing a hot or a shield can be so much stronger compared to dealing damage. So keep this one in mind. And again, like, if you only like get rid of a stamina buff or a mage buff, it is very beneficial as well, because the enemy will deal less damage or has less health, and this is always good. So yeah, I know it isn't too deep and too complicated. This is a very easy guide maybe, but I hope I covered the whole basics. So please feel free. I will do more shadow content in the future for sure. I just wanted to share this build mainly, and I think, yeah, this build is such a blast to play, and yeah, please feel free to leave a comment here. Please give it a try and share your thoughts. Tell me how you think about it, and if you play Shadow, please let me know how you think Shadow is doing right now. And yes, that's finally it. So again, thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye bye.